Do you guys want to fight about it?
No, it doesn't matter.
Okay, so if you'll call the roll, Susan.
Member Bob Patel,
Aye.
Member Melendez,
Aye.
Member Becker, Member Garcia,
Aye.
Vice Chair Musgrove.
Aye.
Chair Druker.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, so now we go on to a public hearing, which is to consider adoption of Clean Energy Alliance Resolution number 2023-009, setting rates and approval of agreements for Clean Energy Alliance Solar Plus Residential Distributed Microgrid Program, providing solar and battery storage systems. So the public hearing is now open. Will the board secretary report on the noticing?
All notices required have been provided.
Okay, so we have a presentation on this.
Good afternoon, Chair Druker. Yes, we do.
Very good, Barbara. Good
And
to see you.
it's nice to see you and the board members. I do have with me Stephen Pollock. He is
Hold on,
from-
Barbara. Here we go. Okay. Well, for a second we had you, but now
Oh, do you have me now?
we don't
Our
have
screens are
anything
back.
on our screen right now. There we go.
Okay.
No.
Am I back? Can
Now, everybody have Barbara?
Yes.
Yes,
all right, can you hear me?
we can hear you just fine.
Okay. The item that is before the board for consideration is an item that has been before the board previously. And I do have with me Stephen Pollock from Participate Energy, who is the company that is the capital financing group that has brought this project forward for board considerate to Clean Energy Alliance and through our unsolicited proposals process. And he is available for questions. And I do have a presentation and then we will open it up. The recommendation is for the board to conduct the public hearing to consider adoption of resolution 2023-009, setting rates for our Solar Plus program. And that would be effective November 1st, 2023. And approve the power purchase, program support, program management, and framework distributed microgrids agreements. Our Community Advisory Committee received a presentation at their last meeting on the Solar Plus program and support the program offering. The Solar Plus program is a unique opportunity that provides the ability for residential customers to have access to solar and battery storage systems with zero upfront cost to the homeowner. It provides the lowest per kilowatt hour rate available in the market to the end customer. It provides long-term customer pricing stability. It would be available to all residential customers and is easily transferable when customers move or sell a home and a new person moves in. There are no operational maintenance costs. Those costs are included in the rate that is proposed for board consideration. It generates 100% renewable energy and emergency backup power through the battery. An allocation for improvements related to the installation is included in the proposed rates, as you'll see in the table. The benefits of the program for the customer is that it creates a whole home backup system through the battery and solar system. The system generates and consumes solar on site and pulls energy from the batteries to avoid utility delivery costs and the negative impacts of the new net energy metering 3.0 or SOLE billing plan. It promotes equity among our customers by providing a simple and competitive zero upfront cost. So there's no credit application or that type of requirements related to the system. There's also a residential rental aspect where renters who currently don't have easy access to solar can then have a solar and battery storage program. For Clean Energy Alliance, it provides grid stability by providing the battery storage systems and power price certainty. Green energy is created locally, which is a priority of Clean Energy Alliance, and Clean Energy Alliance now would have the benefit of the renewable energy that's being generated by those systems by the rooftop systems, which we don't currently have as part of our portfolio. The program partners are Tesla Incorporated. They are the installer. So it's a regular Tesla solar system and battery. They're the leading electric vehicle charging infrastructure and solar and battery manufacturers. It's a known name by those that are looking at these types of systems. It offers turnkey residential. They offer turnkey residential, new home, commercial, and utility scale solar and battery operations throughout the state. Participate Energy, who is another partner, provides the credit and cash support. And they come from Corporate Credit Inc., which was founded in 1994. They have over 250 megawatts of rooftop solar development since 2008. They co-developed with Tesla a $300 million SGIP battery project. They have loaned over $5 billion, provided over $5 million in corporate loans for tax-based transactions. And they're focused on developing, capitalizing, and managing the fund that will provide the ongoing operations and maintenance for the system. So how the process works is that CEA will market the program. We will have a website dedicated to Solar Plus. And on the website, there will be a link to take them to the application or enrollment through their enrollment process, which then takes them to the Tesla side of the process. Tesla then designs, builds, and operates the solar and battery systems for the customer. Participate Energy buys the system from Tesla, and then they sell that energy to Clean Energy Alliance. So Clean Energy Alliance is the buyer of the energy off of those systems, similar to how Clean Energy Alliance buys solar energy from really large scale solar projects that you see out in the desert or out in open lands where there's large solar systems. So now we're buying it from locally generated rooftops within our communities. And then we sell the energy to the customer on their bill, as we do any other customer, at a predetermined rates that are before the board for consideration. With the residential renters program, the landlord would go online and submit the system online order. And then the landlord then acknowledges that the tenant needs to enroll in our Solar Plus program as the electric customer. And then the tenant goes online and enrolls in our rate program. And in doing so, now the customer has access to solar and as well as the battery. And the systems work just like as if the customer had gone out and purchased it directly from Tesla. If in the event the tenant moves out, then who's ever next on the SDG&E account, so the next person who starts their service would be enrolled in our Solar Plus program, and they would continue to have the benefits of those systems. So the rates as proposed is 14.5 cents per kilowatt hour, and that's for any pre-construction costs or improvements related that might be needed. So maybe roof improvements or electric panel improvements, those sorts of things. If those costs are $750 or less, the per kilowatt hour rate is 14.5 cents, and that is they're not time of use rates, so it's that one flat fee. If the pre-construction costs are between $751 and $2,500, the rate becomes 15 cents per kilowatt hour. For pre-construction costs of $2,501 to $5,000, it's 15.5 cents. And then in addition, there is a flat monthly charge for the battery. If there's one battery installed, it's $115 per month. Each additional battery is $75 per month. So we've completed analysis looking at 3 different types of customers based on average monthly usage, and took into account SDG&E's transmission delivery rates, projected out what those rates could increase over time and using the rates as proposed to the board. For a customer whose average monthly usage is 375 kilowatt hours, we estimate the savings over the 30 years to be 12,000. So little less savings in the beginning, but as we all know, SDG&E's rates go up over time. And as those rates go up and our customers are using their batteries wisely and maximizing the usage of those systems, they can accumulate these estimated savings. If the usage is 425 kilowatts average per month, the savings goes up to 20,000. And at 515 average monthly usage is 26,000. So as you can see, the more usage a customer has average monthly, the savings potential is greater. There are 4 agreements that Clean Energy Alliance needs to execute with Participate Energy and Tesla, and that provides the framework and establishes the requirements that both Clean Energy Alliance has and also Participate Energy and Tesla and our commitments to the programs. There's a power purchase agreement, which establishes the terms, conditions, and price that Clean Energy Alliance will purchase the solar energy from the system, and also establishes the rights for Clean Energy Alliance to claim those renewable attributes of the energy, which is key to a key benefit for Clean Energy Alliance. There's a program management agreement, which establishes our responsibilities related to marketing the program to CEA's customers. There's a program support agreement, which establishes Clean Energy Alliance's responsibilities to provide program support for the systems. And so our call center continues to be a first line for customers who call, and then they would be directed to Tesla as appropriate. And then there's the Framework Distributed Microgrids Program Agreement, which is an agreement that establishes terms and conditions for performance for Clean Energy Alliance, Participate Energy, and Tesla. These agreements have all been fully reviewed and vetted by our general counsel, as well as our transactions attorney that is, we utilize their services related to power purchase agreements to ensure the language is consistent with California state requirements for the renewable energy. And that does conclude my presentation, Chair. I'm happy to answer questions. And again, we also have Stephen Pollock from Participate Energy available should the board have questions.
Great. Are there, at this point, questions for the board, not comments, but questions? Go ahead. Question.
Thank you so much for bringing this program and explaining that to us. I just wondered if schools, colleges, and maybe even churches, would they be available, or could they use this program?
Thank you, Board Member Becker. So this first phase of the program is geared towards residential. We do envision there being future phases that would include commercial, including our schools, as well as looking at for our existing customers who have solar but don't have battery, having a phase that would allow those customers to access the battery, which is really key to minimizing their energy costs through filling that battery during the times when energy is the lowest cost, and then using the energy out of that battery during the peak times. So those are certainly things that we are contemplating for future phases, but this first phase is a residential program.
Okay, it just seems like it might not take off super quickly with residential because people don't know about it. It seems like it would be easier for us to go to all of, like, I know Solana Beach school districts are interested in this type of a lot of them are getting to be having solar anyway, but the battery portion. But anyway, thank you so much.
Well,
Yeah.
I will tell you that Participate Energy is very eager to see this be successful, and they heard you, and we will start those conversations then right away to look at schools.
Thank you.
Priya?
Yes, just
Question.
a quick question from, I had a constituent that had reached out asking if it would prevent CEA from entering into other program agreements at any point?
No, the agreements are not exclusive.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ed?
Barbara, great seeing you. Thank you.
Thank
How
you.
does this factor in with multifamily housing and new projects coming on board? Could a developer partner with them and then have that available for any of the tenants or make it a condition of residency?
So this is, as currently constructed, is really geared towards the single-family residences. However, we do have a grant that we have partnered with the Center for Community Energy to apply for a grant for electric vehicle charging at multifamily housing for disadvantaged or underserved communities. And Participate Energy has partnered with us with that project to have a solar and battery storage component. So we are looking at that, and if we are successful in the grant, we will, that could be our pilot phase in terms of seeing how we can bring rooftop solar and battery storage to the multifamily communities.
And that's fantastic. If we can get to that point, I would love to be able to push that out into our community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Joe, any questions?
Yes, my question is in regard to mobile homes. There are a number of mobile home parks now that are moving from the large meter into individual metering, and the idea behind that is to be able to participate in this. My question, or in programs similar to this, my question is for those mobile home parks that the owners of the home, they're owners of the home, but not the property, but have individual metering from SCG&E. So is this going to be included in that?
So mobile home parks and mobile homes are unique in that there's a lot of factors that go into whether or not solar can be put on the rooftop. So I wouldn't say they're ineligible, but each one will be unique, and they would have to look at, the structure of the mobile home, the foundation, and whether or not the system can be installed. So they can apply, and it would be looked at, and to the extent that they're capable, then they would be eligible for the system.
Thank you.
Katie, any questions? Okay. Barbara? Oh, go ahead.
Thank you. And as we bring on a program manager for this, I'm assuming they'd be tasked with bringing on programs?
Correct.
Okay, great. Thank you.
So Barbara, where else has Participate Energy and Tesla had this program?
I am going to ask Stephen Pollock to turn on his camera and share with you the various other CCAs they're working with and where they're actually now up and running and have installed systems.
Barbara, sorry, my camera says that video stopped because the host has stopped it. Maybe someone can allow that, or I can just speak without the camera.
Let me
Go ahead, Stephen.
Sure.
It should be able to now.
Okay, thank you. No, that's okay. I will, I'll just speak to it if that's okay.
Yes, go ahead.
So we have 4 cities that have currently signed contracts. One has agreed, but it's pending signature. So the one city that we actually have a program launched and we're actively selling is in Lancaster, Lancaster Energy, Rancho Mirage Energy Authority, Pico Rivera, San Jacinto, and Pomona have also agreed and are moving forward. Those were just signed very recently. So San Jacinto and Rancho Mirage will be launching imminently, and then we'll be phasing out the launches of the additional CCAs as in the next month or so.
Thank you, Stephen. Any further questions? Okay, Susan, are there any members of the public that would like to speak to this?
We have no requests to speak and no communication has been received in the 10 days preceding the hearing.
Very good. So comments?
I'll move to close the public hearing, Chair.
Okay. Is there a second to close?
Second.
Okay. I don't think we need to take a vote on that, do we? Okay,
Yes, you do.
call the roll.
Member Patel,
Aye.
Member Melendez,
Aye.
Member Becker,
Yes.
Member Garcia,
Aye.
Vice Chair Musgrove,
Aye.
Chair Drucker.
Yes,
Thank you.
okay, so now we'll open it up for public, for board comments. Who would like to lead off?
I would just like to say, I think it's a great idea. And with my question to Barbara, with so much of the a lot of the single family residents that we have in our established communities, some have solar, some don't. So this will certainly fill a niche, but with the development we're seeing moving forward, I think if we can find that component that fits in with multifamily housing and whatever composition that takes, I think that's going to be the next logical step. And I would really love to see that.
Christie, for you? Watch this, we've talked about with this, about this program before. It's extremely exciting. Specifically because it does have the apartment component, which is really important. It also allows people with that have not done solar because of the upfront costs, or also because whether or not it would ever make any sense because of the low usage of electricity. All of a sudden, this makes sense because of the battery. And the other contributing factor is it basically provides a person with energy where they don't have to use San Diego Gas and Electric. So therefore, they don't have to be part of NEM3, or they don't have to pay as much into NEM3 or very little into NEM3. So I think this is an extremely exciting program. So we have one resolution and approving the power purchase and sale agreement. Do we have a motion on that?
Chair, I'll move to approve resolution 2023-009.
Is there a second? Okay. Susan, please call the roll.
Member Patel,
Aye.
Member Melendez,
Aye.
Member Becker,
Yes.
Member Garcia,
Aye.
Vice Chair Musgrove,
Aye.
Chair Drucker.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, so now do we have a motion to approve the power purchase and sale agreement, program management agreement, program support agreement, and framework distributed microgrids agreement with Participate Energy?
Move to approve.
Moved and seconded. Susan, will you please call the roll?
Member Patel,
Aye.
Member Melendez,
Aye.
Member Becker,
Yes.
Member Garcia,
Aye.
Vice Chair Musgrove,
Aye.
Chair Drucker.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Very good. Now we go on to new business. The first item on this is to receive our annual audited financial report for fiscal year ended June 30th, 2023. Barbara, I assume we have a presentation on this.
We do, and we have a guest here. Each year, Clean Energy Alliance is required to have an audit performed by an outside audit agency. This year, those services were provided by a new firm, Pursuant and Brinker LLP. And I have with us to provide the report to the board, Brett Bradford from that firm. Brett, would you like us to run the slides?
That would be excellent. Thank you.
Okay, so it'll be just a moment to pull up the slides. Okay,
We can see the slides now, so go ahead.
okay.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Brett Bradford, partner at Bisseni and Brinker. If you could advance the slide, please. Just it's a quick bio for me and a little information on our current activities with the CCAs, several CCAs throughout California. And I was lucky enough to have Alejandra Schaefer be the engagement manager this year. I believe she's in attendance as well right now. So if you could advance the slide, please. So the audit is complete at this time and reported an unmodified opinion, which is a good thing. That means based on our audit, the financial statements are materially accurate. And so the financials as mentioned for the year ended June 30, 2023. And also no significant deficiencies or material weakness in internal control were noted. Also a good thing. So if you could advance, please. By the way, I forgot to mention, please feel free to interrupt me with any questions whatsoever. This slide takes us through the relative roles and responsibilities real quick. Management, that's Ms. Boswell and her team is responsible for preparing the financial statements and establishing a system of internal control. We, as the auditor, are responsible for auditing the financial statements. And so the main way we do that is by considering the risks of material misstatements in the financial statements. We consider the internal controls relevant to the financial statements. We perform tests of year-end balances based on the results of our risk assessment. And we evaluate the adequacy of disclosures. And management does draft the financial statements, which is good. That allows us to be independent and to not be involved in their production themselves. If you could advance the slide, please. These are some of the high points of our risk assessment for the year ended June 30, 2023. The primary focus of the audit and the financial statements is revenue recognition. So we look at accounts receivable and accrued revenue, and we test a sample of customer billings. We relate total cash received during the year to revenue recognized. And we look at cash received subsequent to year end and relate that back to accounts receivable recognized at year end. And we review revenue recognition throughout the year and the method for determining that is accrued revenue, that is unbilled revenue at year end. For cash, we send confirmations directly to financial institutions. And if you could advance, please. Accrued cost of electricity, we want to make sure that that is complete and captures all the costs of electricity, whether billed and paid after year end or not. And we review subsequent bills from the electricity providers and the cash payments to make sure that our accrued cost of electricity is complete at June 30. We look at accrued rec expense, supplier security deposits. We look at contracts and determine completeness of amounts recorded. And we look at financial statement note disclosures and make sure they're complete and without bias in accordance with GAAP. And one disclosure that's important are the purchase commitments in the notes, which is a significant dollar amount. You could advance the slide, please. The next few slides take us through some of our required board communications, and those are our requirements under the ICPA standards under which we perform the audit. The significant accounting policies adopted by CEA throughout the periods audited appeared appropriate and consistently applied. No alternative treatments of accounting principles for material items in the financial statements were discussed with management. Can advance, please. We did not propose any adjustments to the financial statements. We have not identified any significant or unusual transactions or applications of accounting principles where a lack of authoritative guidance exists. Can advance, please. There have been no disagreements with management concerning the scope of our audit, the application of accounting principles, or the basis for management's judgments on any significant matters. And we have not encountered any difficulties in dealing with management during the performance of our audit. So all positive outcomes there. And if we could advance, please, that concludes our slide presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions whatsoever.
Thank you, Brett, for that brief and excellent presentation. So with that, are there questions from the board? Susan, are there any members of the public that would like to comment on this?
We have no request to speak.
Okay, this is an information item that we received. It is wonderful that we have passed the audit again without any conditions. And I'm really happy that Andy and Barbara have done such a great job to ensure the financial health of CEA. Any other comments, questions? Very good. Then we will go on to, and again, Brett, thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay, now we go on to item 8, which is consider approval of a wholesale market access tariff terms and conditions and positive enrollment agreements with San Diego County Water Authority and Poseidon Resources. So Barbara, I assume you're up again.
Yes, Chair, I am. And I would also like to acknowledge that we have Brent Fountain in the audience there from San Diego County Water Authority. So if the board has questions, he's related to the agreements or questions for him, he is available to answer them. This program is something that has been before the board previously, and the board did approve entering into a memorandum of understanding with San Diego County Water Authority and Channelside to bring back a wholesale market access tariff. And this action, the recommendation is for the board to approve the wholesale market access tariff terms and conditions, and then also subsequently approve the Channelside wholesale market access and positive enrollment agreements with San Diego County Water Authority and Poseidon Resources LP for enrollment of the Channelside account for the Carlsbad desalination plant, and to authorize the Chief Executive Officer to execute all documents subject to General Counsel approval. By way of background, at the July 27th regular meeting, as I mentioned, the board approved the MOU with the Water Authority and Channelside and directed us to work together to develop a program that would allow us to enroll the Channelside account, but also address the risks of serving such a large load account. CEA staff, San Diego County Water Authority staff, our technical consultants and legal teams, including CEA's general counsel and special transactions attorney, work diligently in development of the WMAT tariff. And we have a new acronym because we can't do anything in the energy space without an acronym. Work diligently to bring forward a program, a new tariff that we believe provides the ability for CEA to serve the customer and was acceptable to San Diego County Water Authority. Our priority through these processes is to mitigate the risk to CEA and its customers related to the large account because of the normal opt-out rights of CEA's customers. So typically a customer, while they are automatically enrolled, they do have the option to opt out. And for all other customers, they can opt out with giving 6 months notice, or they can request to opt out immediately and be placed on SDG&E's transitional bundled service. And with an account that uses as much electricity as this account does, if we were to not address that risk, CEA would be left with very large contracts that had entered into to sell to the customer that now we would no longer have a customer for. With regards to the WMAT terms and conditions, this is the document that establishes the criteria under which other customers may request to be considered for this program. To be eligible, they must be non-residential customers within our service territory, have an annual load greater than 150 gigawatt hours of energy usage. They must execute the WMAT agreement and then concurrently execute a positive enrollment agreement. And they must not be enrolled in net energy metering. The benefit to Clean Energy Alliance is that serving this customer is consistent with our goal, our priority goal of reducing greenhouse gas emissions. It's the largest user in the city of Carlsbad, and within our service territory, And being served by SDG&E, it is being served at a lower renewable energy than Clean Energy Alliance. And so bringing them into our program, we increase the amount of renewable energy procured on behalf of that load and helps us to achieve our goals. It provides a new predictable revenue stream to Clean Energy Alliance. The risks of serving the load are mitigated through the agreement terms, which spells out a minimum 3-year opt-out notice period. And the customer pays the full cost related to their loan. There's no cross subsidization from the other CEA customers. The benefit to the customer is that enrollment in the power, they can enroll in with us and receive a higher renewable energy content. So they receive at minimum our clean impact, which is 50%, our renewable energy increasing to 100% by 2035. And customers that enroll in this program have more control over their energy supply in that they participate in developing a power procurement plan and help assist in decision-making with regards to power procurement. Setting rates for the WMAT, our Clean Energy Alliance board has full rate setting authority for our customers. The rate is approved in a public hearing, just as all of our other rates are. And as we just saw, we approved a new rate for a program under a public hearing. The WMAT customer bears the risks, but also has the benefits related to rate volatility. So their rate may be lower than other customers, or it may be higher than other customers, but they bear that risk of the comparison. And the methodology is consistent with our other energy rate setting in that there's an administrative cost component, and the administrative cost will be at the same level or percentage as all other customers' administrative costs in their rates. And then we add up all of the other energy components to come up with a per kilowatt hour rate that's then added with the administrative costs to come up to the total WMAT rate. So a little information about the account. Carlsbad Desalination Plant is owned by Poseidon Resources LP and located in the city of Carlsbad. The San Diego County Water Authority has decision-making authority related to the energy provider and making energy decisions through a water purchase agreement that they have with Poseidon Resources. The desalination plant is the largest in the United States, delivering nearly 10% of the region's water supply. The terms of the specific channel side agreements are that the agreements will be effective January 1st, 2024. However, the account will not begin being served by Clean Energy Alliance until January 1st, 2025. And during the course of the next year, we will be working together to develop the procurement plan and begin procuring the energy contracts related to serving that customer. Based on a January 1st, 2025 enrollment, they would be assigned in the power charge and difference adjustment vintage of 2024 by SDG&E, also known as the exit fee. So this account will pay the exit fees charged by SDG&E for departing their service. The procurement plan that will be developed must comply with CEA's energy risk management policy, as well as other compliance requirements we have related to procurement. A new scheduling coordinator ID will be established specifically for this customer's usage, and that provides us the ability to specifically track the energy costs related to this usage and allows us to then do true ups and reconciliations monthly and then at year end. We anticipate setting the rate, bringing the rate back to the board in a public hearing in November of 2024 to be effective then their enrollment in January 2025. We will track the revenues and expenses against projections on a monthly basis. If the results are more than a 10% variance, either up or down, And our projections do not anticipate that that 10% variance will be corrected by year end, then it would be subject to a rate adjustment mid-year. We will also complete an annual true up, and any overages or underages related to the financial reconciliation and true up would then be rolled into the following year's rates. And again, it's a minimum 3-year opt-out notice or tied to the longest term contract, whichever is longer. And there are terms that allow for it to be shorter, such as if the longest term of the contract is assigned to the water authority, so they take responsibility for that contract, then we can consider a shorter term, or we are able to sell that contract in the market and remove that out of our portfolio. So we do agree to work with them with relation to that long opt-out period. So that does conclude my presentation, Chair, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Great, thank you very much. Are there any questions for Barbara on this? Susan, are there any members of the public that would like to comment on this?
We have no request to speak.
Okay. So at this point, I will ask, we did receive a letter from a member of the public, correct? Johanna, talking about whether or not this is done at fair practice, shall we say? Can you comment on that?
Yes, I can. Thank you, Chair. In this particular case, the member of the public corresponded with the chair and the new CEO, highlighting that there may be some issues as to entering into a contract with Channel Side. I can tell you that our special regulatory counsel has looked at the issue and found that what CEA is doing today is creating a new category. And if anybody else fits into that category, they will be able to do so under the same terms and conditions as what is before the board today. And if you have any questions, I'm available to answer any questions.
Very good. Are there any questions, comments anybody would like to make? Well, I will take the privilege of commenting at least, so it doesn't look like we're just rubber stamping everything. Barbara, I really appreciate you working with San Diego County Water Authority on this. It's extremely important, especially for Carlsbad, that this happened, because it will allow them to have a better chance of reaching their climate action plan goals. It's very important for the city of, well, for CEA. It's also very important for the county of San Diego, because ultimately we hope that the energy costs for producing the desal water from Poseidon will become cheaper. And as we know, water is one of the major users of energy in the country. And if anything we can do to reduce that cost may, no guarantee here, may reduce the water rates that we have. And as we all know, water rates are not going down in the foreseeable future. So I think this is extremely important that we do this. I'm looking forward to setting those rates in a public meeting in November of 2024. So with that, I would consider a motion for approving the wholesale market rate access tariff terms and conditions.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Call the roll, please, Susan.
Member Melendez,
Aye.
Member Becker,
Yes.
Member Garcia,
Aye.
Member Bob Patel,
Aye.
Vice Chair Musgrove,
Aye.
Chair Drucker.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the wholesale market rate access agreement that includes positive enrollment agreements with San Diego County Water Authority and Poseidon Resources?
So moved. Oh,
Moved by Priya,
Second.
second by Katie. Susan, will you please call the roll?
Member Melendez,
Aye.
Member Becker, Member Garcia,
Aye.
Member Bob Patel,
aye.
Vice Chair Musgrove,
Aye.
Chair Drucker.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, so now we go on to item 9, which is consider approval of Clean Energy Alliance Solar Billing Plan. I know actually we have public comment on this, so Barbara, I assume you're up again.
Yes, I am, Chair. Thank you. One moment, I'll bring up the presentation for this item. This is an item that we have been tracking very closely. It's the new billing process for customers that have rooftop solar. And it's applicable to those customers who applied with SDG&E for the permits to install a new solar system after April 15th, 2023. We are, in this instance, we're seeking direction. And we provided 3 options to the board for their consideration, or the board may give us other direction. The 3 options that are provided in the staff report are to implement the solar billing plan to mirror SDG&E solar billing plan and maintain CEA's current net surplus compensation methodology to be effective December 15th, 2023. And that date is consistent with when SDG&E will be implementing their solar billing plan for the affected customers. Or implement a modified solar billing plan to mirror SDG&E's solar billing plan and provide a 1 cent per kilowatt hour premium to the avoided cost component. So the credit that the customer receives for exporting the energy to the grid. This proposal would be to is suggested to the board add an additional penny per kilowatt hour and then maintain CEA's current net surplus compensation methodology to be effective December 15th, 2023, or continue with our current net energy metering plan and do not make any changes or implement solar billing plan. In December 2020, CEA's board adopted our personal impact, which mirrors SDG&E's net energy metering 1.0 and 2.0, which are the 2 billing plans that net energy metering customers are on. It did also establish our net surplus compensation, which is what customers receive for excess energy that their system generated over 12-month relevant period. Any that exceeded what they used during that same 12 months, we would compensate them at 6 cents per kilowatt hour. In December 2022, the California Public Utilities Commission approved a decision that made changes and implemented solar billing plan, also known as NEM 3.0. And this is the successor to SDG&E's NEM 2.0. That decision affects only the investor-owned utilities. However, because we do partner with SDG&E and the customer receives transmission and delivery services from SDG&E and then the electric generation from Clean Energy Alliance, it's prudent for us to evaluate making changes to be consistent or not with SDG&E. The PUC approved solar billing plan is effective for customers who apply for net energy metering connections after April 15th, 2023. Customers currently who have solar and are either on the NEM 1.0 or 2.0 programs would continue on those programs. So they're grandfathered in until the end of their legacy period. And then at the end of their legacy period, then they are transitioned onto solar billing plan. And we do have some customers on NEM 1.0 that over the next year will begin converting to solar billing plan on the SDG&E side of the bill. It changes the methodology for how the bill is calculated for charges for energy the customer uses, and then the credits they receive for the energy that is generated and put onto the grid. It changes the rate that the customers are placed. They will now be placed on the time of use electric vehicle 5 or TOU EV5. Currently, customers on NEM 2.0 are placed on the time of use DR1 rate. It also makes a change in that there will no longer be an annual true-up of the account. Rather, there is a monthly true-up with no option to true-up the charges on an annual basis. So in a month when a customer currently, if there's a month where a customer has a charge due, that customer may voluntarily pay, or they may roll that forward to future months until the end of their 12-month relevant period, and to have the benefit of future credits to apply against those charges, and that will no longer be an option. It also changes the net surplus compensation calculation methodology, which I'll discuss later in the presentation. It's estimated that solar system payback time will increase from the current average 5 years to 9 years. So customers who are buying their systems, and as opposed to our program that we just approved, which is zero upfront costs, but traditionally customers pay for those systems, and the savings that they accrued from the systems, currently that savings pays them back over 5 years, and that's extended to about an average of 9 years estimated. It incentivizes battery storage because to the extent that customers are using the energy off their battery, they are not then incurring transmission and delivery charges. And CEA is not required to implement solar billing plans. So I just want to make sure that the board realizes that they may do something different should they desire. So with regards to how the methodology changes, under net energy metering, or NEM 2.0, the number of kilowatt hours that the system generates during a specific time of use period are then netted against the kilowatt hours the customer used during that same time of use period. And then either a charge is calculated or a credit is earned based on the retail rate that was in effect during that time of use period. Under solar billing plan, kilowatt hours generated that then the energy is put onto the grid, a credit is earned, but that's using what's called the avoided cost calculator and not the retail rate. And typically the avoided cost calculator rate is significantly lower than what the retail rate that is in effect during that time period. It's being evaluated on an hourly basis instead of the total time of use period. The kilowatt hour charge for usage is calculated based on the retail rate at the same time of usage. So currently, the customer is getting the benefit of the credit at the same rate that their usage is being charged. And now there'll be a differentiation where the credit is lower. And that's where the increase is coming from. Clean Energy Alliance, in working with their data manager, looked at what do we estimate the impacts to be on customers using our current NEM customer data. And using our current NEM customer data and looking only at the generation costs. Again, that's all the service we provide, and it's the only data we have. But for the generation side of the bill, which is typically the much smaller portion of the bill, maybe 1/3 of the bill, we estimate that the average customer NEM customer bill would be $42 higher under the solar billing plan than it would have been under NEM 2.0. Of course, those results will vary depending on how a customer usage compares to what we see as the average customer bill. For example, do they use more energy on peak or more energy off peak? And do they have battery storage? And again, with the addition of the battery storage, customers can maximize that and utilize filling the battery from their solar system during off-peak hours, and then use their battery during the peak times and avoid the generation and transmission and delivery costs. We currently have about 22,500 NEM customers. The vast majority are residential, 22,200 residential, 300 commercial. About 6,500 of those customers are on NEM 1.0, and about 16,000 are currently on NEM 2.0. So the solar billing plan became effective for applications that were submitted after April 15th. And to the extent that those customers applied and then their systems were installed and then they went live, they were placed on NEM 2.0 temporarily while SDG&E was updating its billing system to accommodate this new billing plan. And then effective on December 15th, those customers will be trued up on their NEM 2.0 billing and will then be placed on the new solar billing plan for their transmission and delivery services. So regardless of what the CEA board, what direction the CEA board gives, all customers who have applications after April 15th for their transmission and delivery charges, they will be placed on solar billing plan, as well as the customers on NEM 1.0 and 2.0 who reach the end of their legacy period will go on to SBP for transmission and delivery. So with regards to the impact of the various options, so, I'm sorry, solar billing plan, we maintain the existing NEM program for new solar and NEM 1.0 and 2.0 legacy customers. So if we maintain our existing program, any savings that the customers would realize from being on our NEM 2.0, it's not enough savings to offset the increase in the transmission and delivery increases that customers will receive. So if we do not make a change, customers will still see an increase in their bills. Our customers, our NEM customers would see this as a great benefit if we were to maintain NEM 2.0 as compared to staying with or going with SDG&E, opting out of CEA and going to SDG&E bundled service for NEM. Our NEM 2.0, our current personal impact would be considered a great benefit. But we would give up new revenue. So that $42 increase in the bill that we spoke of, that would be new revenue to CEA that we aren't currently earning from our net energy metering customers. One key item for consideration is that currently we mirror SDG&E's rates and time of use periods so that customer bills are consistent between the transmission and delivery side of the bill and the generation cost of the bill. And to the extent that we don't, we aren't the same, it could cause a bit of confusion for customers if we calculate their generation side using a different methodology than the transmission and delivery side of the bill. It would also make it very difficult for us to calculate rate comparisons because we're no longer have a apples to apples plan with upon which to prepare rate comparisons for customers. So if we implement SDG&E's new solar billing plan using the avoided costs calculator to calculate the energy generation export credit, affected customers would be on parity with SDG&E. They would be no better off or no worse off being with Clean Energy Alliance with regards to that part of the bill. There would be the potential for new revenue to Clean Energy Alliance, estimated at an average $42 per month per customer enrolled in solar billing plan. The T&D side and the generation services would be calculated on the same basis. So it makes it easy for the customer to understand, and it simplifies the rate comparisons between SDG&E and CEA. We estimate the new revenue in year one by fully implementing SDG&E's solar billing plan would be about just under $161,000 in year one. And we estimated about 200 new customers per year, which we think is very conservative. And then that over 5 years, that would grow to about just over 800,000 a year in year 5. By adopting SDG&E's new solar billing plan, but giving a better rate to customers, adding an additional premium to the export credit, or what we call modified solar billing plan, this would result in a lower average monthly bill than they would see with compared to SDG&E's methodology. There's the potential for new revenue. And the cost of that premium adder would not come from our existing revenues. It would actually be coming from that new revenue that we were seeing coming from those customers. Again, the methodology for calculating both sides of the bill would be the same, and rate comparisons would be the same. We estimate the cost to be about $4 per month per customer of that additional premium, and would be funded through the revenue stream. We do recommend that if that's the way the board would like to go, that they implement the modified solar billing plan for 5 years. And at the end of the 5 years, revisit the plan to see if it's effective and consider making changes at that time. And then the new revenue to CEA net of the premium adder is about 150,000 in the first year, growing to about 750,000 by year 5, using that same 200 new enrolled customers per year. With regards to net surplus compensation, under solar billing plan, customers still earn net surplus compensation by SDG&E. So if there's more energy generated by the system than they used in 12 months, they earn the net surplus compensation. However, there is a deduction from the net surplus compensation for the amount of export credit that they received at the time that that energy was put back onto the grid. And I guess the thought behind that deduction is that customers were getting a double credit. They were getting a credit in the month on their monthly bill when the export was done, and then getting another credit in the form of net surplus compensation. And so that export credit is being deducted. Irrespective of the direction that the board directs, staff recommends that Clean Energy Alliance maintain its current net surplus compensation methodology as a benefit to being a Clean Energy Alliance customer. There's no new cost to Clean Energy Alliance. We currently budget for that cost, and it would continue to be a benefit, seen as a benefit to solar customers. The Community Advisory Committee did hear a presentation on the solar billing plan, and the majority supported Clean Energy Alliance adopting a modified solar billing plan. There were one or two that felt we should keep our current net energy metering, and there was one or two that thought we should just go with SDG&E's unmodified plan. And that does conclude my presentation, Chair. I'm happy to answer any questions that the board may have.
Thank you very much, Barbara. Quite a complicated subject at this point. So are there questions? Christy? Okay, Ed?
Yeah, Barbara, it sounds like at the end there, staff is making one recommendation and the CAC is looking at it from a different perspective. Did I read that correctly?
Staff's recommendation would be the modified solar billing plan, which was the majority of the CAC also supported. So the majority supported the modified solar billing, and there was one or two that said, we should just go with the SDG&E's unmodified. And there was one or two that said, let's just keep it the way it is. So out of the 14 members, the majority supported the modified.
It was quite a bit of information, but what I get from it is with the recommendation, we give the greatest benefit we possibly can to our existing customers and any new customers. There will be added costs, but that's kind of, as you said, that's what we have budgeted now. And it still gives the benefit for the net metering for those customers 3.0 as they come on board. Is that a very 10,000 foot summation?
Very close. So the premium adder, so the additional 1 cent per kilowatt hour,
right,
actually wouldn't be a cost. It would just reduce the amount of new revenue that we would realize from the new solar billing plan.
Where does that 1 cent go? Does it go back to the consumer, or do we?
It goes to the customer.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it goes to the customer. It's a credit on their bill.
Okay. Not a deal breaker for us, though.
No, because we still realize if we have 200 new installations based on average usage, we would still see it, 150,000 in new revenue in year one, 300,000 in year two, and until at year 5, we're at about 750,000, using a very conservative 200 new installations per year.
Okay, so I'm looking at the recommendation for that particular item.
Close. Go ahead,
Sorry.
go ahead. No, go ahead, please.
I am.
Okay.
The recommendation we have within the agenda, is that consistent with what we just saw in the PowerPoint? The wording is slightly different.
Yes, so we're asking you to direct us between the three options that were spelled out. The one that staff would recommend is the modified solar billing plan, which is the second bulleted recommendation.
That's the one I was looking at. Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, you're welcome.
Christie, questions? We do have a quorum. We have 4. 7. Yeah, it's touch and go, so. You have questions? Okay. Joe, any questions? No. I know we have public comment on this, so if you'll.
We have
please-
one request to
Okay.
speak. It's Vice Chair Moser from CEA's Community Advisory Committee.
Okay, go ahead, Don.
I turn this on?
No,
Yeah, I'm Vice Chair of the Community Advisory Committee, and we had a long discussion about this item. But to make it simple, NIM 3 disincentivized rooftop solar. Makes the payback period almost double. And that's because you get very little compensation for putting excess energy on the grid. What the consensus of the Community Advisory Committee was that we want to incentivize rooftop solar. We want to work against NIM 3, and therefore we wanted to add current 6 cents per kilowatt hour compensation for our customers who put excess solar power back to the grid. So that's the modified plan, and that's our very strong recommendation. And I think the consensus was that this helps each city meet climate action plan goals, whereas going with the SDG&E default does not, works against them. The idea that you can offset lower compensation for power put on the grid by going to battery storage is great in the program you adopted earlier today. But if you have to go out and spend $20,000 for 2 Tesla batteries, that is a big disincentive for most of our customers. That's triples the payback time for your solar plus battery storage system. So again, I want to strongly support this modified solar billing plan.
thank you very much, Don. Are there any other members of the public that would like to comment on this? Very good. Barbara, one question, which is you've estimated 200 or so conservatively will add to this plan. Given that we're going with Participate Energy, did you consider that at all in terms of some of the people will, not want to do the upfront costs and et cetera? And as Don indicated, get a free battery per se, not free, but nothing's free, but go with that Participate Energy plan rather than going with implementing their own solar panels. Was that give any thought on that?
So we used the 200 per year is based on our historical averages. We certainly are hoping that our new Solar Plus is very, very successful. And we see many, many more installations because now there's an option with zero out-of-pocket upfront costs. But we didn't want to make any, it also could be that it may not necessarily see a significant increase in people getting solar who wouldn't have otherwise done it. So we felt using our historical average would be prudent for purposes of board consideration. But as we have more than 200, if it's 400, then our net revenue increase would be double what's in this staff report.
Very good, thank you. Are there any comments from the board on this?
To follow up on that, Barbara, we're talking about 200 new customers across the spectrum of CEA. As a
Correct.
whole. Okay.
Yes,
So,
that's right.
okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Very good. So in front of us, we have three choices again. We don't need to do anything. We can implement the solar billing plan from SDG&E, or we can implement a modified solar billing plan to provide a 1 cent kilowatt per kilowatt premium. So thoughts? Anybody?
And Chair, if I can just clarify for the benefit of the Vice Chair of the CAC, that would also include the 6 cents per kilowatt hour net surplus compensation, maintaining that 6 cents. Yeah,
And that's the modified SBP.
correct. Yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we adopt the modified SBP as recommended by staff would be the second bullet of the three options on the recommendation for item 9.
Is there a second?
Yeah, I would second that. Of course, we do want to encourage solar, and I don't believe that the SDG&E program is caring about encouraging solar. So I'm happy to second that.
Joe? any
And
comment?
I'm also in support. I think that this is a far better application for our customers, and seeing that both staff and the CAC are recommending it, I'm in full support.
Yeah, I am also in support, and the only comment I would make is people need to go out and buy batteries as quickly as possible and use our Participate Energy program. So with that, if Susan, we will call the roll.
Member Becker? Member Garcia?
I
Vice Chair Musgrove?
Aye.
Chair Drucker?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, so at this point, we are not going to take item 10. The reason being is that we are going to adjourn the meeting to time certain November 9th at noon, and we will discuss item 10. So with that, I will ask, are there any board member requests for future agenda items? Seeing none, then I'm going to adjourn the meeting at this point to time certain November 9th at noon. Thank you very much.